Now, dear students, we will learn that how we can check multiple conditions by using if-else statements. Let's say we have condition number 1 that should be true, and then certain statements of the code should execute for condition number 1, and if condition number 2 is true, then there should be another set of statements that should execute, and if both the conditions are not true, then there should be some statement that should run by default. So for that, how we can write that, we have already studied that if we can the code for if statement is like this. We write if, and then in the round brackets we write our condition. Let's say we have in this case condition 1, and if condition 1 is true, then this code over here, statements that are written in this square should execute, and else what will happen, that statements written over here should execute. Now what if we want to check an other condition? This we have studied in the previous video, the if else one, in which if condition 1 is true, then only these statements will be executed. If this condition is false, then only the else statement will be executed. So what if we have an other condition to check? Then we will write over here, after else we will add another if, and in the round brackets we will write over here an other condition. Let's say we name it as condition 2, and then we have these curly brackets over here in which we will write the statements that will be executed when condition is true. And what if both the condition 1 and condition 2 are not true? Then we should give some default things to execute. Then for that we will write else, and then after else we will add our statements over here. So what I am going to trying to make you understand, that in if else if and then else, if condition 1 is true, that only these statements will be executed. The controller will not execute the else if condition statements or the else statement. And then if condition 2 is true, then only these statements will be executed. The controller will not execute these statements. The controller will not execute these statements written in the else. And if condition 1 and condition 2 both are not true, then the controller will execute the else statement. So in this way we can check multiple conditions and execute a piece of code. So let's try to understand by example. Let me comment this code over here. So over here we have already used two LEDs, red and green LED, and we have already declared global variables of data type int, variable x and y, initialized with the 10. So what we will do, that if we are going to practice the if else if statements. So for that, the first condition, let's say I write over here, in which say that if else equal to y, then what should happen, the red LED should turn on. For turning on the red LED, we know that we have the function to turn on the LED, that is digital write, and the red LED is connected to pin number 13, and for turning it on we should write over here high. And if the second condition we want to check, else if what if x is greater than y, then what should happen, this block of code should execute, in which we want to turn on the green LED, and the green LED is at pin number 12, and we write on this pin as high. this will turn on the green LED. And if x is equal to y, this condition is also false, and if x greater than y, this condition is also false. So what will happen, right, then we will write the else, and in the else we will write in the curly braces we will write that both the LEDs digital write pin number 13, both the LEDs should be low, means it should be turned off. Similarly, let's turn off the green LED by writing digital write pin number 12 and give it a value of low. So what will happen, what will the controller do? The controller starts its execution from over here, the line number 1. It will declare some variable. In the void setup, what it will do, it will change the pin mode number 13 to output, pin number mode 8 to input, and pin mode of 12 as output. And when it will go to while loop, as you know that loop is the in the code that is written over here will be executed repeatedly. So what will happen, the controller will check if x is equal to y, the value of both x and y is equal, it will write at pin number 13 a 5 volt or a high value, and pin number 13 is connected to red LED. And else if x is greater than y, if this condition is true, then what will happen, that it will write pin number 12 a high value, which will actually turn the green LED on. And what if x is equal to y is also false, x greater than y is also false, then it will turn off both the LEDs. So in our condition, as you know that x is equal to 10, y is equal to 10, both are equal values. So what will happen, that the red LED will turn on. As you know that in this condition, if else, from all these three only one condition will be executed. If x is equal to true, then the controller will not check this statement, will not execute these statements. And if x is equal to y is false, then controller will check if else if x is greater than y. And if this is also false, then controller will execute these statements when both the conditions, this one and this one, is false. So let's simulate our work by clicking on this button. You can see that the red LED is turned on because our this condition is true. When this is true, the controller will not check this statement and will also not execute this statement. So let's change the conditions. Let me stop the simulation, and let's say if I write x is 20, now you can see that x is 20, y is equal to 10. In this case, this condition is false, so controller will not execute this statement, and will check this one. If this condition is true, the controller will execute this statement, and then after executing, the controller will not execute these statements, because from all these three only one statement will be executed. So let's save and run our simulation. Now you can see that our green LED is turned on. So what if we say that let's say that it's 10 and give y 5. So let's save this. So in this case, when x is equal to 10, y is equal to 50, when the controller will run, let me stop the simulation. When the controller will execute this statement, the first statement will check that controller will check if x is equal to y. As you know that 10 is not equal to 50, so controller will not execute this statement. Then controller will check if x is greater than y. Then as you know that x is not greater than y, so controller will also not execute these statements. Then the only thing that is left behind in our code is this statement in which both the LEDs are off. So let's run the simulation, and you can see that both the LEDs are off because in else statements both are off. So let's stop the simulation, and let's say if I add another condition of else if, in which I write that else if another condition, what other condition can be, that if x is less than y, then I am going to choose that both LEDs should be turned on. And what if I am going to write an else, the default path which will be executed when all the above three conditions are false, that is both the LEDs should be off. So for that we write over here low means 0 volt on the pin. So let's save our work. So in this condition currently we have x is equal to 10, y is equal to 50, and when the controller will check this condition it will be false, this condition it will be false, but this condition will be true. So both the LEDs will be turned on. So let's run the simulation. Over here you can see that the condition, this one is true, this condition is true, that x is less than y, and both the LEDs are turned on. And in this case only this condition is true, that is why both the LEDs are turned on. So we have now understood that when you are going to check multiple conditions you can write it by using if, else if, and then you can also give a default path.